the smartest film critic in the world, Cole Smithy.
Hi, this is Cole Smithy with ColeSmithy.com and your guide to what to see and what to avoid at the movies this week. Watching this engaging sports documentary about two of the most daunting players in women's tennis won't necessarily help your ability to tell Venus and Serena Williams apart. It does, however, provide an intimate window into the background, lives, and challenges of two of tennis's fiercest players.
What do you want to be when you grow up?
Tennis player. I would like to be a tennis player.
Though they were born more than a year apart, Venus and Serena proved equally talented players from a young age under the perceptive tutelage of their womanizing father Richard and supportive mother Oracene. Archival footage of Richard training his well-behaved daughters on courts in Compton, California, speaks volumes about the heightened level of sportsmanship the girls achieved at a young age and the family's determination to rise above their surroundings. This efficient documentary gains emotional weight from specific sequences of tournament play during 2011. In the face of vocal and symbolic racism from crowds and tennis officials alike, both women display a tenacity of spirit that is all composed energy and skill. Physical ailments take their toll on both women.
I'm getting married in November. Congrats, we're gonna live. Right now,
Venus battles against an autoimmune disease. Serena suffers from a pulmonary embolism. Seeing the women work through their individual illnesses demonstrates their inner character in personal terms. Talking head interview segments with such luminaries as John McEnroe, Anna Wintour, and President Bill Clinton provide social context. Venus and Serena keeps a safe distance from its furtive subjects. Audiences hoping for a warts-and-all expose will be disappointed. However, those hoping to gain insight into the physical and mental struggles that Venus and Serena Williams have gone through will be richly rewarded. It's one thing to watch Venus or Serena play tennis in competition and wonder about their personalities. It's gratifying in a different way to see how they express themselves and live their daily lives. Everything adds up. You start to understand their humanity and their mutual need for one another. I give this outstanding sports documentary an A.
Show me your world, Chris.
Well, I thought we'd start with Crouch Tram Museum.
Great.
Blacker than the La Brea tar pits, director Ben Wheatley's dark comedy about a couple of serial killer lovebirds is an exquisitely funny movie.
Dear Mum, Yorkshire is lovely, not like you said at all. They can smile.
Based on a well-polished script developed by the film's leading actors, sketch comedians Alice Lowe and Steve Oram, Sightseers' unconventional tone is charged with a dollop of budding romance. Tina, played by Lowe, lives at home in England's Midlands region with her domineering mother, Carol, played by Eileen Davis, who is still getting over the death of her beloved dog, Poppy. Against Mom's wishes, Tina is eager to go on vacation with her new suitor, Chris, played by Oram, a ginger-haired schlub with a camper trailer and a low threshold for minor injustices. Chris has a laundry list of New England tourist attractions, such as the Crick Tramway Museum, for the couple to visit. While riding a historic tram, Chris witnesses another passenger thoughtlessly tossing a wrapper on the floor. Not one to suffer such indignities lightly, Chris asks the offending man to pick up his trash. The man refuses. Within moments, karma strikes.
It's just thinking outside the box.
While backing up the camper, Chris accidentally runs over the guy, killing him. Victory. Chris and Tina get a bonus in the guise of the man's freshly orphaned dog, Banjo, a carbon copy of Poppy. Tina isn't troubled much by the event. In fact, she rather seems to cotton to the idea. Before long, the couple is taking turns at bumping off unpleasant people they come across on their journeys, which is to say, just about everyone they meet. What started out as an erotic odyssey digresses into an all-out killing spree with no end in sight. Much of the absurdity comes from the way Chris and Tina judge one another, even while one-upping the other. The gawky chemistry that Alice Lowe and Steve Oram share is a hoot even without the added element of skullduggery in which their characters indulge. The gaudy sweaters they wear approach a mythic level of hideousness last witnessed in the Beatles mockumentary Help. A singular flashback, which reveals Tina's involvement in Poppy's demise a year earlier, fills in a crucial piece of backstory about Tina's inelegant aptitude for murder. Sightseers maintains a formal quality of gallows humor rooted in the style of such early Ealing Studio black comedies as Kind Hearts and Coronets from 1949.
Fuck you!
For as reprehensible as their actions are, we get a charge out of seeing how and whom the couple will knock off next. I give this memorable black comedy a B+. My sleeper pick is The Iceman, and my guilty pleasure pick is Kiss of the Damned. My must-have DVDs are 3:10 to Yuma from the Criterion Collection, Barrymore from Image Entertainment, and Jubal, also from Criterion. Although originally produced for British television in 2002, Paul Greengrass's vivid depiction of a violent turning point in the so-called Troubles in Northern Ireland was released in theaters in the US.
Oh my God, I'll never stop us now, boy.
The Sundance and Berlin film festivals showered awards on the docudrama for its persuasive verite style, which depicts a January 30th, 1972 attack by British Army paratroopers against 10,000 Irish demonstrators in a civil rights protest march in Derry, Northern Ireland. 14 protesters were killed and 14 more were injured. British soldiers suffered no injuries or casualties. The 1998 Bloody Sunday inquiry ordered by British Prime Minister Tony Blair was the most expensive investigation in British history. Greengrass based his terse episodic screenplay on Don Mullen's acclaimed book Eyewitness Bloody Sunday from 1997. Drawing on his early career spent directing episodes of the investigative British television program War in Action, Greengrass deploys an arsenal of shooting and editing techniques that place the audience in the flow of the film's roughly 24-hour timeline. Sound from radio transmissions between British military officers preparing for confrontation segues into a stream of handheld camera sequences that expose the two sides of an infamous street battle. Loose camera pans and impulsive zooms capture the naturally lit action in a gloomy urban district where barbed wire barricades and roadblocks are commonplace. A young Catholic couple kisses and parts ways by the light of military vehicle headlights. This is what military occupation feels like: brutal, dangerous, and mundane. Each scene begins in mid-action and cuts away with a sustained blackout fade that keeps the audience off balance. The audience's eyes are temporarily closed. Like the Irish, we don't know where we will wake up next in the conflict. Our uneasy frame of reference is that of an itinerant bystander grasping at whatever semblance of reason we can read into the absurdist narrative of military oppression. Ivan Cooper, unforgettably played by James Nesbitt, is a charismatic member of Parliament of Northern Ireland and civil rights leader charged with leading the march. Like the local priests, Ivan is on a first-name basis with many citizens whom he treats as his own flock of peaceful protesters. However infectious his idealistic and fearless belief in the potential power of a demonstration to effect change, there are plenty of young men who think differently. An Irish Republican Army leader dispatches orders to his comrades from behind the wheel of his car while chatting with Cooper. Major Steele, played by Chris Villiers, a British Army commander, instructs his war-painted Charlie Company troops to teach the locals a lesson. Picking up 200 hooligans is their stated mission. Back at the Army's headquarters, Major General Ford, played by Tim Pigott-Smith, focuses on winning the propaganda war when he isn't modeling the aggressive attitude he expects from his crew of trigger-happy goons. When all hell breaks out, as we know from history, the audience is thrust into an orgy of violence against innocent civilians that makes clear why Bloody Sunday served as a moment of truth and a moment of shame that destroyed the civil rights movement and gave the IRA its biggest victory. Thanks for watching, and visit ColeSmithy.com for more.